We get into, some defensive unsung heroes for the upcoming season. As I mentioned before, we already know who the stars are. We know Dylan Moses is going to be an impact guy. We know DJ Dale is going to be an impact guy. We know Christian Barmore is going to be an impact guy. We know Joshua McMillan. We know, Shane Lee is going to do a little something. We know Jordan Battle and Daniel Wright, Patrick Surtain II. We kind of know who the impact guys are on defense. We know the guys that we have to circle and highlight and underline and draw a star by, because we know what those guys have meant to this particular program. But as always, the national championship teams under Nick Saban here at the Capstone have also had those guys that came out of nowhere. Players that, we saw little to none of, and you're like, well, who is that guy? Don't really know much about him. Talk to me about this guy. It's the players that were kind of, scrambling through the roster trying to find out, where did this guy come from? Was he a 4-star or 5-star? What class did he come in? Those unsung heroes that people just don't know much about. How many of those guys can we see pop? How many of those guys can we see, come out of nowhere and really make a profound impact on this team, winning a national championship, on this team getting Coach Saban number 7 to eclipse the Bear, getting this program number 18 in its history? So I pulled out 5. I pulled out 5, particular unsung heroes that keep your eyes on. Expect these guys to pop here in the upcoming season. So here we go here, folks. Stevens 5 defensive unsung heroes. Number 1, Brandon Ale Kaho at linebacker. This is Kaho's year. With Markel Benton in the portal, Kaho will be the starter in that dime package. He'll be the starting dime linebacker. He will also get some work in Alabama's nickel defense. And this is a guy we all know this past season he exploded on special teams, blew up the shield, blocked 2 punts, could have recovered both for touchdowns, but recovered 1 for a score. And a guy that came in late in the 2018 class out of Nevada, Alabama flipped him from Washington, was a big part of helping the Crimson Tide have a top 5 signing class for 2018. He's got the physical build of a C.J. Mosley. Mosley played at 6'1", 6'2", 234 pounds at Alabama. Kaho at 6'1", 228, so around that same physical build. He was highly frustrated after the loss to LSU this past season. You saw how the LSU players went into the stands at Bryant-Denny and trying to flip for 2020 players to, leave, the Crimson Tide. And, of course, Kaho went on Twitter and was like, LSU, we finna run this mess back. I'm looking forward to going down there and facing y'all this year. So he said that, really adamant about beating LSU at Tiger Stadium and then win. Scott Cochran made the decision to go from Alabama to Georgia. He goes on social media again, tweeting out that September 19th is going to hit so different this year. So mentally, Kaho is already in the frame of mind of, this is going to be my year. And I'm going to make this my year. I'm going to make it my business for this to be my year. So number 1 out the gate, folks, keep your eyes on Brandon Ale Kaho. He is going to pop as an unsung hero type player. So number 2, give me King Wakuda. And I brought him up last week, or a couple of shows back. Brought him up on the show. And for Wakuda here, he was a quick, twitchy edge guy out of Georgia in the 2019 class. And to start that season worth of practices, Sal Sunseri did a lot of yelling. Sal Sunseri did a lot of hard-nosed, tough coaching, in-your-face type coaching. But that hard-nosed, tough yelling for King from the middle of the season, the week of LSU, throughout the remainder of the year, it became affirmation and confirmation. Like, Coach Sal got on King, but then he would come back and say things like, that was your best rep all week. That was your best rep all practice. That was your best rep all season. You're starting to cut the high school mess off. You're starting to do what I'm telling you to do. You're going to be big. You're going to be big time. You're going to be solid. Like, he would always come back and sort of reaffirm, reestablish Wakuda as we love you, man. You're going to be something big here. And it's kind of like, remember Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas came to Alabama in the mid to late 1980s, 1985 from, Miami. And, lost his father at a young age, didn't have that concrete father figure until he got to, of course, he had a couple of, fatherly people in and out, but he didn't get the concrete father figure until he got to Alabama with Sylvester Croom. And people knew Derek Thomas was going to be good, but you had to sort of push it out of him. And Alabama already had Cornelius Bennett on the roster as a defensive player, a guy that was a All-American, first-team All-SEC, record-setting type of dude, sacking the quarterback, making plays. Cornelius Bennett was larger than life. So Derek Thomas comes in, and, he has, moments where he wants to transfer, but Sylvester Croom talked with them. He spoke with them. He spent time with them. And Coach Croom coached him hard, stayed on him, grilled him. But he always came back to reaffirm DT about, hey, we know you the man. We know you that beast. We know you that dude. We're just going to push every last bit of it out of you. We're going to stay on you, but we're going to always come back and reaffirm, hey, the moment you lock in, young man, nobody is going to be able to stop you. And that's how Croom treated Derek Thomas. And this is exactly how Sal Sunseri is treating King Wakuda. He's pushing it all out of King because he knows this guy has got the potential to pop and really, really be something here. So number 2, keep your eyes on that outside linebacker position. King Wakuda has got some potential to play in that Terrell Lewis type of role in the upcoming year. Moving on down to number 3, give me Ronald Williams Jr., the JUCO from Hutchinson Community College, but he's originally out of Louisiana. The thing with Ronald Williams is how quickly, how efficiently, how effectively can he come in and lock down that other corner position opposite Josh Jobe, giving Alabama the freedom to put Patrick Surtain in that star position. And when I look at Williams, he kind of reminds me of 2 former Alabama corners, Anthony Averett and Levi Wallace, right? When you ask the Alabama fan base, when you think of players that come from New Jersey, the first thought that hits your mind instantly, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Old Bridge, New Jersey, St. Peter's Prep School, 5-star, came in, won the job in the nickel corner spot, had an illustrious, great, fantastic career first-round pick. Minkah Fitzpatrick is the first player to hit anyone's mind who's a Bama fan, college football fan, when you talk about players that come out of New Jersey. Well, prior to Minkah, in 2013, Anthony Averett came out of Woodbury, New Jersey. He was a lonely 4-star, almost 3-star. Not a lot of people talked about Averett. He was more so track player than football player. So he comes to Alabama in 2013. He redshirts his freshman year. Between his redshirt freshman year and his redshirt sophomore year, 2014, 2015, doesn't really play all that much. Doesn't get action until, his junior year as a starter in 2016. And the guy put on a show. 48 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 1 interception. He locked down the left side of the field. I mean, he was so good. Friends of mine, we used to call Anthony Averett Straps. We used to call him Straps because he was a shutdown corner. And fans were flipping over the roster going, who is he? Where did we get him from? Where did we get Anthony Averett from? Where did he come from? Like, where did we find him? Because people were not expecting Anthony Averett to pop, and he did. 2017, Levi Wallace popped, and this was a walk-on. This was a walk-on that got his scholarship in 2016. He came in 2014, but 2017, he started at that left corner spot, and he, 15 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, and folks were going crazy trying to figure out How in the world was he on the bench all of his time? Was a walk-on. So Ronald Williams Jr. kind of reminds me of those two guys. How quickly and how effectively and efficiently could he come in and lock down that other corner spot. The fourth guy you look at here, it's Daniel Wright at safety. He has matured his body. He has matured his mind. He has learned from the likes of Deontay Thompson and Xavier McKinney and Ronnie Harrison, just so many guys that Daniel Wright has learned from. He has been through some injuries. He's had to learn the defense, but he's finally in a place where he's prepared, he's ready to lead, he's ready to take on responsibilities and be that guy. So the number 4 got to pop. Keep your eyes on Daniel Wright. He's built like the Incredible Hulk now. And then last but not least, keep your eyes on Byron Young on the defensive line. I could have named any defensive lineman, but I chose Byron Young due to, this past season, 23 tackles. He had 13 tackles down the stretch of the year, had a sack, had a tackle for loss. He really popped toward the middle portion, throughout the end of the season. So also keep your eyes there on Byron Young. Just some names there that can be unsung heroes for this team. But folks, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on the Crimson Tide. It's simple. You get this by downloading the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You get this from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you've got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, whether it's iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, or iHeartRadio, we've got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I will return on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing those things to legitimately not be bored. Get those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself. Protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, it's been in my own words. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.